Interior, abandoned power plant, Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania, night. The skeletal remains of machinery loom in the darkness, illuminated by the eerie purple glow emanating from the clenched fist of the mad titan Thanos. He's imposing, his gauntleted, radiating quiet menace. Then there's Loki, bound and kneeling before Thanos, looking bruised but defiant as he sneers up at the mad titan, while Hawkeye, aka Cliff Barton, holding a battered bow, arrows nocked, hidden precariously on a rusted catwalk above, watches with grim determination.
Failed me, yo. The Tesseract remains elusive. Your pathetic attempt at dominions have only drawn the attention of pests.
Oh, I spelled chaos type. Chaos breeds opportunity. The earth, it will fall in time.
Time is a luxury the universe can no longer afford, and your games have cost me resources. My patience wears thin, little god.
Perhaps I can still offer you a prize. A more immediate one. The Archer. The one they call Hawkeye. He knows things, secrets of their defenses, of the remaining stones.
A diversion? Still clinging to your tricks, Loki?
A trade, Titan. His life for my continued assistance.
Not today, you purple bastard. Not today.
The Archer is insignificant, a minor annoyance. Your value diminishes with every lie, Loki.
For Asgard!
Such predictable desperation.
Oh yeah? Eat this, you purple bastard!
Insect!
Sorry, Reindeer Games. Collateral damage.
You will regret this, Mormal!
And scene! Welcome, everybody, to another amazing episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast presents Ask AI. But tonight, we're not asking AI. We are at the end of the third round of the first ever MCU Infinity Saga Tournament. My gosh, has it been a brutal tournament thus far. We've seen some amazing things happen. So, thus far, in the semifinals of the tournament, we have the number 2 seed, Avengers Infinity War, accompanied by the number 3 seed, Guardians of the Galaxy, and the number 6 seed, with a big upset last week, Captain America, the Winter Soldier. So tonight, what we will be doing is thus. Myself, Old Uncle Matty Matt Lavelle, and Benoit Pudcasse, and the one and only Liam Lashmize Reese, will be selecting 2 movies from the pool of the 20 movies that have been eliminated thus far in the tournament. We'll bring 2 of those movies to the table. We'll then discuss why we think these movies deserve to be the 4th movie in the semifinals, and then we will narrow it down to 2 movies and have a vote on on the one movie that'll survive out of those 2 movies to make it on to the semifinals, where they'll face, we don't know yet. So, the pool we have to select from is the number 23 seed, The Incredible Hulk. The number 22 seed, Thor the Dark World. The number 21 seed, Captain Marvel. The number 20 seed, Iron Man 2. The number 19 seed, Thor. The number 18 seed, Captain America the First Avenger. Number 17 seed, Iron Man 3. The number 16 seed, Avengers Age of Ultron. Number 15 seed, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Number 14 seed, Ant-Man. Number 13 seed, Black Panther. The number 12 seed, Spider-Man Far From Home. The number 11 seed, Doctor Strange. The number 10 seed, Spider-Man Homecoming. The number 9 seed, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. The number 8 seed, Thor Ragnarok. The number 7 seed, Captain America Civil War. The number 5 seed, The Avengers. And the number 4 seed, Iron Man, as well as the number one seed being dethroned last week, Avengers Endgame. So, we are going to pick two movies from those pool of movies. We will then discuss and give our points as to why we think those movies deserve to be sent to the semifinals. So, are we ready, gentlemen?
Born ready.
Born ready. I guess that would be considered our tale of the tape.
Yeah, I think that actually is our tail of the tape right there. I mean, we've seen what everybody has put out. We know what we lost. We know what we kept, and now it's time to down to brass tacks, right?
Can we go? Can we? So, am I allowed to go to round one?
Actually, Liam, I don't feel great about it. Do you feel great about it?
I don't know, man.
Oh, yeah. Maddie, can you tell us what we need to do right now?
Round one. Fight! All right, so here we go. We're each going to select two movies. We'll start off with our number one selection that we think should be headed on, and then we'll give a little rundown as to why we think they need to go, and then we'll move on from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Good. Love it. Like it. Love it. Want more of it. Make it hurt. Girl Sergeant, make it hurt. Huh? Hey, All right, here we go. So, my first movie I think should be going to the semifinals is none other than the number one seed, Avengers Endgame. So, Avengers Endgame, as we've discussed, it isn't just a movie. It's the definitive culmination of an entire saga, right? What other film delivers over a decade of interconnected storytelling, balancing the emotional weight of a universe altering loss with the sheer spectacle of almost every hero uniting for an epic final battle? I mean, I'm telling you, when Cap pulls back that whammer and he says, Avengers, assemble. And they start charging Thor's Thanos and all his minions of darkness. Oh my god. Get you juiced, Daddy. I get juiced every time. I get juiced every time. This movie, it provided deeply satisfying, earned conclusions for beloved characters, delivered moments of unparalleled fan catharsis, and created a cinematic event unlike anything seen before or since. Endgame didn't just meet impossible expectations, it surpassed them. And setting a new standard for superhero storytelling and truly completing the Infinity Saga in a way no other film could. I mean, spoiler, but when Tony when Tony when Tony saves us,
Mm-hmm.
that
Mm-hmm.
one chance,
Mm-hmm.
that one chance. I mean, it was a sacrifice play, and he could make the sacrifice play, and he did. I just remember it was like, Hurricane Katrina in the movie theater when he died. It was Waterworks City, Daddy, and justifiably so. He nailed it. The whole thing was great. I loved it from top to bottom. Couple things could have been better. It's tough to nail time travel as a storyline, but still a lot of fun, and I love the hell out of it. And yeah, it satisfied everything. We closed a lot of doors, tied up a couple loose ends, so it was fun. And also, the final battle was just the tits. So my first pick, Avengers Endgame. Like it, love it, want more of it. Who's going next?
That would be Maddie.
Take it away,
Benoit
Daddy.
Food himself. I reached deep down into the bucket here. Like we said, we got a couple upsets along the way, but there's one movie that I feel had a little bit of short shrift, which is kind of tough now because its original exclusion from this list was because it came up against Endgame, which is the movie that Maddie just stand for. I'm taking the number 13 pick, Black Panther. Here's why I think Black Panther deserves to be in the top four pantheon of MCU movies from those first three phases. We've talked about a lot of things that get our juices flowing on this show. One of them is incredible performances. We had incredible performances in this film from pretty much everybody, from Black Panther to Killmonger, Killmonger's dad, Okoye, M'Baku, Shuri, the Queen. I mean, every character that was cast was kind of pitch perfect and dead ass on for what we needed from this movie. We got one of the most sympathetic villains of all time. When we talk about the strength of Black Panther being is that Killmonger was an incredible villain. We saw where he was coming from the whole time. His perspective made sense, and at the end, I mean, you're obviously you're rooting for, you know, Chadwick, but Michael B. Jordan made the best case as a charismatic villain in the MCU. It's visually stunning. It was set up in a perfect way. There was no need for an origin story. We knew everything we needed to know about T'Challa from Civil War. So we were able to get into this movie just running. The technology, the beauty, the settings, the lack of CGI for a lot of it, really, really impressive. It's also the first MCU movie nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. It's a visually stunning film with a pretty sweet soundtrack by Kendrick Lamar. It focuses on often marginalized characters, mainly people of color and women. Black Panther, super fun movie, one of the most fun movies I've had in the theaters. The cons are a little bit Monday morning quarterbackish. No one could have known what Chadwick Boseman was going through. But upon review, man, killing Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger character really set that entire franchise back. There's one thing I could change about Black Panther, it would be not killing Michael B. Jordan's character. His speech about burying him in the ocean with his bros at the end was one of the more poignant things Marvel has done, and his appearance later on in the Spirit Realm was exciting. But had anyone known Boseman was going to be not going to be able to carry this mantle forward, I really, really wish they didn't kill and get rid of Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger.
Could you imagine if Michael B. Jordan transitioned from Killmonger to Black Panther?
That would
We'd
be
be
fucking
singing a
awesome.
different fucking tune right now.
If he was just imprisoned, right? He's already had the magical herb. He's already shown that his intentions are not he has a different viewpoint, but he's not a bad guy. I mean, he does kill his girlfriend, but he's not the worst guy. He does kill his girlfriend.
We didn't know that. I mean, also that girl could have been the worst too.
He's not a great guy, right? But he's not.
But he was on a singular-minded mission, right? Like he did want what was best for his people,
and for the world as a whole. And here's another con I have. It's a little harder to root for Wakanda when you know that I understand politically why they wanted to stay hidden. But remember when our boy what's his name? The white dude, the Martin Freeman. What's the name of his character in that?
Okay, yeah. I know you're talking about.
He breaks his back. They put a couple little electrified balls in his spine. No, you can walk again. Man, Wakanda had technology. Where were you guys in the Avengers when a wormhole opened up and the world was about to be destroyed? If
you don't think then it's time to be like, hey guys,
maybe
just an FYI.
I mean,
you're looking for space tech.
The United States is sending a nuclear missile at Manhattan. You know what I mean? Could you guys step in? I think it would have been Wakanda was a mysterious place, and they did a great job of fleshing it out. But by the end of the movie, T'Challa has to be like, yeah, we got to start sharing this shit around. We have not been awesome about this. I don't think there's a ton of cons, but for me, Wakanda could have been more sympathetic, and the killing of Killmonger proved to be a real thorn in the side of this franchise going forward.
It's just they didn't have the problem with the second Black Panther. It's just that she's not a believable Black Panther, right? It's just not it, right?
Killmonger's
she's just not,
in a cell, right?
Also, they fuck
Michael B. Jordan's in a
Namor.
Cell. Right. Michael B. Jordan's in a cell, and the Namor shows up, and they're like, "Well, You've eaten
Somebody's
the
got to
herb.
handle this, dude.
You've eaten the
Right.
herb, and also the one thing you're not going to do is let Wakanda be destroyed by some fucking Atlantean sea country.
That's
Like,
some fish
Also,
man. Yeah.
yeah, some fish, bro.
let's not forget they killed his fucking dad. Right? Like they
Played by
killed Michael B. Jordan's dad. So he's
Sterling
not
K.
the
Brown.
villain. Right? Like
Incredible performance. Like the dude's in it for
they
6
killed his
minutes.
fucking dad, dude. They
And
killed
he
his
saw
fucking
it.
dad.
He
He
saw it.
saw it. Like,
Yeah.
fuck off. They're wrong. Wakanda's wrong. I don't care. I don't care if you are Forrest Whitaker, amazing actor, awesome guy. You killed his fucking dad, dude. Like,
Yeah, but then
he has
burning all
every
the
right to
herbs,
seek
that's
vengeance. To burn all
Burning
the
the
herbs,
herbs
a
is
little
tough.
much.
That's
Little much.
that's
That's
what
tough.
put him. That's what like
Yeah.
made him a full on villain. I think
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
once he burned the herbs, then it's like okay, so now
he
you're
wanted
not
to be
just
the last
now
one.
you're not just taking it out on the dad like that family line. Now every family line of
You're
you know what I mean.
you're pulling it
that's
away
kinda
from
where,
Wakanda itself.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
or they
Which
could have,
that one was bullshit. You know,
maybe they could have transitioned the flower to Umbaku.
I mean,
dude.
I don't know.
Or if you're gonna have
Don't trust them. They're vegetarians. They be scarfing that shit up.
dude, if you're gonna have
Love M'Baku.
Killmonger be like in prison or whatever, you have somebody he can like, be like eye to eye with. M'Baku fucking points him in the right direction. You know what I mean? Like warrior to
And, like,
warrior. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like has like kind of like his sensei in this. I would say,
Yeah,
yeah.
man.
You think
Yeah.
Be like,
you
look,
think these herbs
especially
only grow here? Like,
especially
nah,
why is a
buddy.
young guy like M'Baku the head of his tribe? What happened to M'Baku's dad? So maybe they can find like maybe there's a level playing field there where they can be like, look, I know you're paying the vengeance, my friend, but
Yeah.
this is not the way.
Because
This
he's
is
a
not the
total
way of
badass.
Wakanda.
Yeah. Total
Yeah.
badass, like wise beyond his years. You know what I mean? He's always chilling everybody out.
Yeah,
Dude,
I think he has a ton
he's-
of kids too, right? So
And-
he's getting damn.
Again, it's a tough con because obviously no one knew
Yeah.
what was going to happen
Yeah.
with Chadwick
Impossible.
Boseman, and like impossible
Sucks.
to plan for that. But had
Sucks.
they just not killed Killmonger, they would have had a ton of
I mean,
different avenues to explore, like in event of tragedy.
You know what they should have done if MCU had any balls? They would have looked at like the percentage of white audience they had, right?
And just
released
replace it with Michael B. Jordan anyway.
and replace him with another Lakeith Stanfield or something.
Listen,
You're like, he looks close enough. Like they'll never know the whites.
Honestly-
they'll never know.
honestly,
Dude, they replaced what's his name with Harrison Ford. They look nothing alike.
they replaced the
Yeah.
Incredible Hulk
Yeah.
after the
Right.
first movie.
Yeah.
Like, no,
And no one said a thing.
I think it would have been. I understand why it was culturally really difficult, but I honestly, as a movie fan, and it's no disrespect to Chadwick Boseman,
He also
wish-
nailed it though. Like
he did.
Yeah.
Well, that was
He was
tough because
fucking
he was
awesome.
I
so
think
good.
that's what made it hard to
Kind of
I think if it's
impossible.
anybody
Yeah.
else, they recast it. But that was a major character, several
He was
movies,
so
and he
good.
fucking
And he was
killed it,
great.
dude.
He was great. Yeah, I
Yeah.
was sorry to see T'Challa, a really important character in the MCU. I mean, we've had
T'Challa.
we've had 71 Batman.
T'Challa.
We've had one T'Challa.
How many Batmans have there been?
I don't know, 106.
Oh,
And there's about
29, like-
to be more.
Yeah, they're not going to stop.
is that a spoiler in Superman?
No,
No.
but they're gonna
Just-
make Brave and the Bold, so there's gonna be another one.
What
Yeah.
is Brave and the Bold?
Another Batman movie.
All right,
Yeah.
let's not get off topic. Okay,
Yeah.
Bern, what else do you got for your first selection, aka Black Panther?
No, that's it. I think I've expressed my pros and I've expressed my cons. My vote for this first slot is the number 13 seed, Black Panther.
Love it. Very good. Lishmoosh May. What do you got for your first choice, Daddy?
All right. Byrne was right about a lot of what he said about Black Panther. It being like an origin movie without an origin movie, which is always better than taking up the whole movie with the freaking origin and then there's no actual movie. But in this case, Labonte, Matt Lashmishma, he is righter in that I agree that my first pick would be Endgame. And the pros are, Matt touched on this, is that this movie is obviously the one with the highest stakes, out of all of them. And then, like, the culmination of all of it. Like, you get so much payoff from all the movies leading up to this. And my favorite was Captain America being able to lift Mjolnir, like, and being able to, that part was really cool. And that
And
leads,
Stormbreaker.
yeah. And that leads me to another pro is I think Captain America almost gets like overshadowed by like, because of Tony's sacrifice and everything and how important he was for MCU and everything. But that movie was a really good, like, that was a great portrayal of Captain America when he's standing there right before they all come through the portals and his shield's all messed up and he like tightens the
He's
strap and
beating the
everything
shit.
and he's looking down, and he's looking down the whole army about to and he's still standing up. That's like, to me, that's like top
That's the
tier,
gimmick. Yeah.
top tier Captain America, dude.
You know what's crazy, Liam? Too. I think I didn't even think about this before too, but like that movie starts with Captain America like in a support group for people who just lost everything,
Yeah,
and he's
Yeah.
like, I mean, so not only is he tightening up the shield while he's being bashed by aliens, but like he's showing up to the meeting at 6:30 in a shitty church basement, with some donuts like on a Thursday. Like, you're right.
still fighting the good fight, dude.
Still
Like
fighting the good
always,
fight, man. Still just trying to. If he can help one person out of the whole deal, then his day is
I
productive.
mean, I think it starts with Tony too on the like Tony's initial performance
but when
too.
you first see Cap,
Right,
I
when you
think
first
that's what
see
he's
Cap.
talking
Well,
about.
Yeah.
well, it's after they kill Thanos, they transition to the new world where it's
The
like
5 years
half empty, and then they have Cap all messed up. But dude, Tony's performance in the beginning too, where he's in the dying ship with fucking Blue. What the fuck's her name? You know what I mean? With Karen
Nebula.
Gilliam. Nebula,
Nebula.
when he's in there
Yeah.
with Nebula playing fucking football and shit, and like he drops down to Holocaust victim weight, you know what I mean? Like dude,
Yeah, he's
and
pretty
when
bad.
he has like the meltdown with Cap, he's like, I got nothing
Yeah.
for you. When I needed you, you weren't there. I wanted to put something around this world to protect it, and you weren't there. I got nothing for you, Cap. Nothing, nada. And like great, powerful fucking shit. Powerful shit. They took
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I love too how like they know this is they took it serious. You know what I mean? Like this isn't this just a fucking payday for them. They took it fucking serious.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
serious actor showing up, taking a comic book role and turning it into a serious role. And that's what you love. Right? Smoosh, I'm sorry I stepped on your fire there, baby.
No, you're good. That's just, I mean, and you're kind of, helping me make my case for me. And everything you said was right, though. I mean, that, and like,
Usually is.
as much as time travel can be a cheap way out, I think I mentioned this before in a previous episode, though. As much as that's the easy way out, like it's a lot of times time travel is lazy writing. They're just kind of backpedaling and fixing something that they screwed up oftentimes. This time they made the time travel in a way that was not horrible. Actually, the opposite. It was good. All those times, with the exception of one. So I'll get into my cons. Okay. One of my cons was when they go back to the 70s to get the Pym particles. I think that's a con. That was, I think, where you get into time travel and the writing being kind of lazy, just in that section, though.
That was the bridge too far for you.
Yeah, before the time travel, yes. Like, okay, so they failed, and now they can just time travel again and get more particles and time travel again. Then it's, like, what are the stakes then? Then you just go back forever and get more particles forever until you win? Kind of,
Right.
But other than that, the lame, like the Lebowski Thor was it was funny, but they kind of
They beat
overdid
it.
that a little bit.
Yeah,
Yeah, they beat a
they
dead
beat it
horse
to a
by the
dead
end of
horse.
that.
Yeah.
And don't even get me started on the Hulk. I could do a whole episode on how bad they're effing the Hulk up at this point.
Dude, I'll tell you though, but like, say, I think you brought it up, Liam. Say one thing about Whedon. He fucking did proper
Yes,
justice to the Hulk.
he did in
Like,
Avengers,
oh,
and in Ultron. Those are
yes.
both great portrayals of Hulk.
I
And
can't
then
argue with that
that
at all.
but cons are
Yeah.
like, think about it. These are cons that are like minutes of a 3 hour long movie. The rest of the movie
Yeah.
is
Pretty flawless.
is an A+ movie. So I
Yeah.
can't. I'm not gonna harp on all
Yeah.
that. But yeah, I agree
So,
with Matt. That's my choice. I'm sticking
all
with it.
right. So the three choices we have first are Endgame. Well, I guess the two choices are two Endgames and one Black Panther. So, I mean, we were gonna vote, right? And you can't vote for your own movie, so
No need. No need.
yeah.
No need
All
right now.
right. So I guess our first choice for the voting later will be Endgame,
Okay.
correct?
We're going to pick between two movies later on.
Yeah.
Endgame is going to be one of those movies.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. We ready to move on to our second movie choice?
Ready,
In
Freddie.
what is being titled, I'm sorry, fuck, I fucked up the name of the episode. I never said it. It's the MCU Money in the Bank episode,
No,
Daddy.
did
The
you not? Are you
MCU.
sure? Are you sure you didn't say it?
I hope I did. MCU Money in the Bank, Daddy. I might have to fucking pipe that in later, Daddy.
Hey, you'll just have to do
MCU.
like a voiceover.
Maybe yeah, I think you're right.
Little
Well, Liam, it was
ARU.
your idea, so maybe you should do the voiceover. MCU Money in the Bank. Thought of by Liam Lashmize Reese. Love it. Okay, but
Maddie,
either way.
Stolen from the WWE.
Yeah. We
Maddie,
clearly came up with that.
It's my original idea that I stole from somebody else.
All right, so moving on. My second movie selection, here we go. So, when it comes to the MCU Infinity Saga Tournament, my second selection is none other than Captain America Civil War. It is a non negotiable semifinalist. This film isn't just a superhero movie, it's a masterclass in character driven conflict, and instead of an external villain, it bravely fractured our beloved heroes, pitting Captain America and Iron Man against each other over profound ideologic differences, freedom versus security, personal loyalty versus accountability. This internal conflict provided incredible emotional depth and set the stage for the entire Infinity War saga. I mean, I'm telling you, when we're in the bunker and it's Tony and Bucky going at, or Tony and he's going at Bucky and Cap, and they're all fighting each other, and he's like, but he's my friend. I thought you're my friend too. He says, I don't care, he killed my mom. Like, all of that happens, and I know for me, one of the downfalls, and I know it's like a cool spectacle to see them battle each other, but like the airport scene is just such a drag, man. Like
Not
it's
necessary. I agree.
such clown shoes, and
Yep.
had they gotten rid of that clown shoes, and like by the time we get to the bunker, no one gave a shit what happened at this stupid, at the airport. It's all about like you're finding out that the Winter Soldier killed Tony's parents, and then it's Tony's going off, Cap's trying to fracture it, Bucky's trying to get away. Like it's mayhem. And then on the backdrop of Black Panther doesn't kill what's his face, right? Like Zima or whatever the hell his name is, and
Yeah,
like
Baron Zemo. Yep.
yeah, incredible stuff. So I mean, you know, it delivered arguably it was a superhero, like an iconic superhero brawl at the airport, but and it introduced fan favorites like Black Panther and Spider-Man. But Civil War, it proved the MCU could handle complex themes and high stakes personal drama, and they didn't really have that before, where they really pitted friend against friend, hero against hero, and making it a pivotal and unforgettable entry that absolutely belongs. It's a top tier part of the Infinity Saga, and that's what I got to say about that. And
I
that's
agree.
all. I gotta say
No, I
about
agree.
that.
Yeah, you brought up that bunker scene is one of the best, if not the best, like the most well written scene of all the MCU movies. Probably
It's
it's hands
incredible.
down one of the best.
It's incredible. And I loved every second
Yep,
of it. You know, the fact, I mean, not only the fight choreography, which is awesome when they're passing back the shield and they're fighting and he downloads his, he downloads everything in the armor about how he's going to fight him hand to hand combat. Like,
that
that's
part
just
was cool. Yeah,
so cool, right? You know, I mean, the whole thing was just awesome. So, really happy how they did it. Really happy, like, when Tony shows the emotion of, like, I don't care. He killed my fucking mom. But that brings me back to the Black
I don't
Panther
think
thing.
anybody really has an argument for that. You know,
Well,
like
okay.
okay, buddy. Well, but still, you know.
But like, you don't care that he hates him now, right? But like, how can you argue that and not argue that Killmonger, they killed his dad, right? Like, it's the same plane
Yeah,
of existence, you know? And it's the same thing going on. So, and then also, I think we did come up that in the Bucky and Iron Man were never in the same scene for the rest of the series.
yeah, because they really couldn't be after that. You know,
No, no.
probably not until they were all on the battlefield at the in Endgame at the end.
Because remember he's on because at that when they're fighting in Wakanda in Infinity War, Bucky is in Wakanda, and then Tony's on Titan fighting Thanos. You know,
Yep.
so I don't know. I'm a big fan of Civil
That was
War.
probably by design, you know, that for them to
Right,
be apart
right.
for it. Yeah.
Like he
Yep.
did kill his mom, guys. Like Tony
Yeah.
might have cooled off, but he's still not happy with it. So yeah,
There's still not going to be best buds after that.
no, there's still
You
some
know.
tension, you know. But all right, so Captain America: Civil War is my second choice. But yeah, so who's next?
That's me.
Take it away,
Uh,
Big Dick.
I am going to put my vote in for the number 8 seed in this tournament, which is the third installment of the Thor series, Thor Ragnarok. Thor Ragnarok is, without a doubt, one of the most fun films that the MCU has ever dared to do, and also one of the funniest. We get great introductions to characters like the Grandmaster. We get Korg and Meek, which are of no doubt incredible enjoyment.
The
And
best.
we get great villains, and great villains represented in ways that they were really well represented from the comics in Surtur and in Hela. I mean, they did a really good job of kind of pulling the rug out from underneath the Thor idea of, no, there actually was a child before you. And she was the goddess of death. And man, most of the throne you're sitting on was built by her. It didn't hurt that Kate Blanchett was super hot. Maybe I'm just at
Oh,
a point in my life where I like mean,
oh.
I'm down for a mean lady. I don't know.
I love.
It
Hey,
worked for
she
me.
got that hot mean, Daddy, and I ain't mad. If she was Italian, hot mean and Italian, woo,
You'd be screwed. You'd be done. It
we'd
was a
all be
great,
done, Daddy.
building on your Civil War pick. It was a great answer to where the hell were Thor and Hulk in
Yeah,
that movie.
yeah.
We have two major Avengers who don't participate in that movie at all. Probably rightfully so because their level of power
Everybody's
would have
lucky they weren't there. Yeah.
exactly
Hmm.
like put them on either team. You can't put them on the same team because that would
Then
have been
there
a
are no
loss.
teams. Then just
There are
whoever
no
has both
teams.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, whoever has both of them. But it was a great answer to where these guys go. Where were they? Why were they not involved in this? And it made a lot of sense. You also got a lot of great picks from other Thor and Marvel comics. You got the introduction of Valkyrie. You got to see the Hulk in a gladiator scenario, which, as a comic book reader, I mean, we've been waiting for a very, very, very long time. You got the incredible "Help My Brother's Hurt" combo,
Yeah.
where Thor just tosses Loki at a bunch of dudes, and Loki's like, "Oh, I hate this gimmick." You got Goldblum as a super weirdo, but these Celestials or near celestial should be kind of weird and kind of specific. We had the collector earlier, and now we get the game master here in this one. Uh, just a really, really fun movie. A movie that was comically accurate to almost all the characters it portrayed. We got to let the Hulk out of the cage a little bit. We talk about how shitty that the MCU has done the Hulk. We got to see Gladiator Hulk, and then we got to see the Hulk fight that wolf on the goddamn bridge.
I mean, it's really just the Russo brothers have shit on the Hulk.
Maybe,
He was terrible in that She-Hulk show. They
Oh,
made it.
well, that doesn't. I'm not.
They tried
I'm
to.
never
They
gonna
found a
count
way
that.
to make it even worse.
Yeah, but I'm
Yeah.
saying like Infinity War, they really took the nuts off of Hulk, and then Endgame, it's like, all right, so he's still a twat,
But this is the last time we really get to see the Hulk
Yeah,
being Prime Hulk. And
Yeah.
the end of that movie, the logical end of that movie conclusion leads perfectly into the Infinity War Endgame saga.
Uh-huh.
They get all those people on the ship, and then we see Kenneth Branagh again. He directed the first one. Now he's doing the voice of the robot. I will say I do have a couple of cons with this that I will add. I think it gave Taika Waititi a little too much rope
Yeah.
to
He
be
hung
funny,
himself with the
hilarious
next
guy,
one.
because
Yeah.
this one was perfect, and the next one,
Love
which is
and whatever.
Love and Thunder, which is
Thunder.
based
Ugh.
on the Mighty Thor Jason Aaron run, which is one of my favorite comic book runs of all time. Again,
good.
just squandering a villain. We've already squandered Malekith, and now we're going to squander Gore the God Butcher.
Well, they just didn't use him enough. They had a good actor to play him.
Again,
Incredible.
Squandered.
Christopher Eccleston, great actor who played Malekith. He didn't do anything with him. Then you get Christian Bale, play the God Butcher. I think it gave Taika Waititi a little too much rope, and you're right, Maddie. He eventually hung himself a little bit on the second one.
Yeah.
The only plot hole I could figure out is the Hulk in the Quinjet when he rolls at the end of Ultron. How did he find the Quinjet was designed as a plane that flies around the world? How did he end up? He must have hit a black hole or something, but how does he end up on this warrior planet? And this one is courtesy of my youngest brother Pulaski, which I feel like he made a great point. They end up escaping through the Devil's Anus on Jeff Goldblum, aka the Grandmaster's pleasure barge.
Mm-hmm.
There's no pleasure on that barge, man. I mean, there's a bench in the middle. There should have been a hot tub there. There should have been some weird shit. There should have been a lot of feathers and freaky weird stuff.
They had the music.
They had "It's My Birthday, It's My Birthday," which I do love. But pleasure, as far as pleasure barges go,
should have been the plane from Austin Powers. That's what it should have been.
Exactly.
The inside of the plane from Austin Powers, where he has the spinning bed and stuff.
100%. Really poor pleasure barge.
Can I say one of the sleeper storylines from Ragnarok is Carl Urban's storyline? Like his redemption arc,
Executioner.
Scourge or something. Yeah. Executioner, I think it's Scourge too or something.
Yeah, Scourge, yep.
Yeah, but he goes from lying about controlling the gate or whatever, and then he also too, one of the genius things about Ragnarok that YTD did is he knows no one saw the second Thor, so he had to make it a captivating way that you're watching oh, okay, so this is what happened in the second one, and he brings in Matt Damon and fucking Hemsworth, his brother, you know what I mean, genius.
And those listen, the first scene of the movie is Thor being chained up, spinning around, just talking shit to Surtur, which is one of the most important villains in the entire Asgardian story. The only thing that he is in the realms to do is destroy Asgard. No, it's perfect. And Scourge, also comic accurate. They did he paid a lot of great, which is I think why I was most disappointed with Love and Thunder, because he was very comic accurate in Ragnarok.
And then he just kind of went off the rails.
Kind of off the rails in that. But my argument here is for number 8, Thor Ragnarok. You've heard my pros, you've heard my cons. That's all I have to say.
All right, Lashmoosh, take it away, Daddy.
All right. Again, I agree with Matt. Like we said, that bunker scene, some of the best writing, one of the best scenes in the MCU ever.
Yep.
But this time, yes, you were right about that. But this time, it's Byrne that was writer. All right. I agree that Thor Ragnarok it should be in there because AI this time got that one dead wrong when it lost to the original Avengers. The original Avengers was good. It was, had to happen. It was a very important movie and everything. Was it better than Ragnarok? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Not even close. Did we mention the music? The music was awesome. All that Led Zeppelin and the fight scenes and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Dude, also like the cinematography reminded us as kids, you know what I mean? It felt like you're watching Last Starfighter at times. It's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say like the set design and like them being in Sakar and like they like just you get more like sci-fi stuff, more like space, you're in a different planet, cool ships and everything. The Devil's
Where do we
Anus was
rank?
cool.
Where are we ranking Blanchett as far as like hottest chicks in the MCU?
Oh, let's see.
Is she top 5? Is Black Widow 1?
Yeah. But I mean she's Brie what's her name? Brie Larson, is that right?
Brie
Brie Olsen?
Larson.
Not
Brie
a
Brie
fan.
Olsen?
Larson.
Brie Larson?
Not
Yeah,
a fan.
but she's super hot.
Maddie,
I
if you
don't
saw
know.
her, if you saw her at the supermarket, you would fucking lose your mind.
Yeah.
I did see her in the league getting golden gated by Rafi and, what's his face? Pete.
The chick from Hawkeye. She's nice too.
Oh, yeah. I didn't see Sinners, too. Apparently she's supposed to be real hot in Sinners.
Yeah,
Haley Steinfeld
Yeah.
Allen. She just married Josh Allen. So
yeah.
No, she didn't.
oh, she just like a month
did.
ago. Yeah, that's Josh Allen's wife.
Oh, I thought she was banging MBJ.
No, he was like, "Hey, baby, want to move to Buffalo?" And she was like, "Sure, as long as I don't have to live there."
I mean, didn't he just get paid, too?
He sure did.
Sure they don't live there in the off season.
Yeah.
No,
I wouldn't.
Uh
I wouldn't
but
live
yeah.
there in season.
yeah.
All right.
The set design was good. Yeah, the villains were totally cool. And more importantly, this movie redeemed Thor. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
Thor is such an awesome character, and he just got crapped on so hard in the movie before. Everybody
They
hated
crapped
it.
all over his tits.
Yeah. And then the Odin asking him when he's having that out of body experience when she's beating the crap out of him, he doesn't have Mjolnir and the dad asks him like, "Are you the god of hammers?" And he comes back.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get that awesome powerful kick-ass version of Thor, and you don't get that how awesome he is in Infinity War without that him overcoming Hela and everything.
He wouldn't be able to take on Thanos had he not leveled up his Super Saiyan powers.
And he's clearing all those armies and everything when they get to
Yeah.
But anyway, the redemption of Thor. That's my main pro of this whole movie. That's why I like this movie so much. And
Nice.
cons, I don't have many. Maybe they leaned a little too hard into the comedy at times, but not so much. That was more the next movie. They just
Yeah, that felt like the comedy was perfect.
I thought they found the perfect level, but everyone
also
was like, "Oh my
they
god, it
used
was
the
so
comedy.
funny."
Yeah, but they used it in the right way, like pointing out how Loki's such a cunt. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Loki, we knew you were gonna do that because you're a cunt." Like all that kind of shit. When they're pointing out that stuff, and he's talking about Thor when he's like puny god, like all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm more talking about when they first get there and they're going through the Grandmaster. It's still he's captured. He has the thing in his neck, and it's still everything. Like, remember they melt the one dude with that stick he has, and they're
Yeah.
still making jokes and stuff. That's all I'm talking about. But we're nitpicking here. I'm saying that's a
Yeah.
very small
Yeah.
I mean,
part
and
of what
also the
I
ultimate
still
line,
choose
he's
this
a friend
movie.
from work, you know.
Yeah,
Like, come
yeah,
on.
which I think
All timer.
some kid on set came up with that
That's what
line
they
too.
said. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Tell him he's a friend from work.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the only thing I kind of noticed too was they kind of push that escape too. Like when they
Mm.
escape for 1 second, they're running from the Grandmaster and everything. Then you like blink, and they're back on Asgard fighting Hela, and you
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It was
Like you kind
rough.
of just that happens in like the blink of an eye. But
We did get
still,
to meet Valkyrie too. Great
yeah,
character.
yeah, she is. Yes, she's awesome. What's her name?
Angry,
Tessa
drunk,
Thompson. She's awesome. She is awesome,
angry,
dude.
drunk, super powerful, but
Yeah,
totally like
yeah.
disenchanted with the whole like whatever.
Hmm.
Like
She's
and also
having an affair with Hulk.
Yeah,
I do think the
redemption.
comedy I do think the comedy opened the doors for you guys. We're talking before about Endgame. I do think some of that comedy opened the doors for them to be able to joke about time travel. One thing I do like about Endgame is that like they like it's really all it's mostly what War Machine does is just break balls about like no listen, we all understand how dumb this is. We all understand there's different rules.
Uh-huh.
Like just give us arms. Like they were able to get that across without being too heavy handed.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
All
Yeah, but it's
right.
almost like you're looking at this stuff through like it's a comic book movie. You know what I
Yes.
Right.
mean? Like,
Yes.
how did he get
Right.
there? Like he got there. Okay,
We're
turn the page.
nitpicking.
But
Yeah.
yeah, that's all. That's all I have. But yeah,
All right.
Ragnarok. That's my thing.
So the two movies we're gonna vote on are Endgame and Ragnarok. Right?
Yes.
All right. So let's move on to the vote. Time to move on to
Do
round two. Round two. Fight! All right, so here we are, round two. We're each going to give our spiel and a vote on what movie we think should head on to the semifinals of, the next round. I mean, the semifinals of the Marvel Infinity Saga. It is going to be a bloodbath. Wherever they go, whoever they go against, whoever it is, they're going against a heavy hitter. God only knows what they have in store for them. But let's talk about it. So, the movie I'm going to choose, the two selections we have are Endgame and Thor Ragnarok. The movie I'm going to choose to go on to the semifinals, it deserves to be there. Okay? It is the number one seed for a reason. It's a fucking awesome movie. All right? It had everything. It has the comedy, has the action, has the pluck in the heartstrings. It capped off, the entire saga. There's parts of this movie that I've seen 30 times, and every time I fucking get out of my seat, chills going up and down my spine, fucking juiced, ready to go, daddy. All right? Give me the fucking whammer. You know? So, for me, there's only one choice. It's Avengers Endgame. It's an incredible movie, and I think it literally does deserve to be in the semifinals with a possible shot to head to the big dance. That's what I'm saying. Those are my nuts on the table. My nuts on the table. And that's what I got. Benoit, you going next?
That's me.
All right, Daddy, talk to me.
Ah, we are going with the psychedelic 70s rock jam that is Thor Ragnarok. Endgame is important. It's actually kind of astounding how well it was able to end this entire three phases of Marvel movies, all edging up to it. It is not an easy decision, but for me, the funniest, the most fun, as Liam said, the most redemptive film for
Mm.
probably my favorite Avenger, Thor, came through Ragnarok. They nailed the villains, they nailed Gladiator Hulk, they made Thor funny, they gave us Valkyrie, they got rid of some jerk offs, and they created a path for Thor to be not only interesting in Infinity War and Endgame, interesting beyond, I think, we're probably going to see a Thor 5, and I think none of that is possible without Thor 3 Ragnarok. Love Endgame, but for me, the more rewatchable film is Thor Ragnarok. By a mile, baby. Give me the 8th seed, Thor Ragnarok.
Wow. All right. So it all comes down to this. It all comes down to this. So to move on to the next round, Liam, who are you going to choose between Avengers Endgame, which you brought up as your movie that you wanted in the first one, or Thor Ragnarok, which you also brought up as a movie you wanted in the second one? So, Lishmoosh, please decide who is going on to the semifinals. Your hair looks great.
So I picked both of these movies, so that makes this incredibly difficult.
Really
it also
put you-
shows you have great taste.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
and then I'm right about everything. That being said, dude, Thor Ragnarok got robbed. That Thor Ragnarok got robbed when they lost to the original Avengers movie. That movie is not better than Thor Ragnarok. But can Thor Ragnarok beat the movies that are left? Is Thor Ragnarok capable of beating the movies that are remaining? I don't know if the answer to that question is yes. So I have to pick, like, because we're trying to make this interesting here. Which movie is better? Which one is gonna do the most damage in these battles? And that movie is Endgame. I'm gonna choose Endgame. It's Endgame. You know what I mean? It is Endgame. It made $2 billion. It's that's the right choice. That movie will, I will say, I'm gonna say it right now. That movie is gonna knock another movie off in the semis, dude. It will.
Ooh. All right.
So
There we
talk
have
to me,
it.
Daddy. Talk to me. So moving on to the semifinals.
Take my word.
With-
Tell me what's right.
Well, I'm saying, so moving on to the semifinals, joining Avengers Infinity War, joining Guardians of the Galaxy, and joining the film the movie that knocked it out of the number one seed is, and joining Captain America Winter Soldier is Avengers Endgame. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
That seems to be it.
Justifiably so. Justifiably so.
Yes.
It deserves to be there. You're
Gotta
right.
use logic here. My heart, like, I love Ragnarok.
Love it.
I picked it for a reason. But of the two, which one is the higher? You know, it's Endgame.
Yeah.
So we're going. Yeah. Take
Let's
it.
go.
Send it. Send it.
Let's go.
All right. So then let's talk, gang. Let's talk. Let's talk turkey. So then next round, right? Or for the semifinals, like,
I don't know, Maddie. I don't know if we seed them or if we just pull them out of a hat. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what the most fair way to do this is. I don't know what the most fun way to do this is, or what the most interesting way to the viewer is to do this.
That's what I'm thinking. If we just gave that one Money in the Bank, the way Money in the Bank traditionally works is if you have the Money in the Bank, you get to choose when you're gonna, you know what I mean? So Money in the Bank should be going against the most opportune, you know what I mean? So I think Money in the Bank, if you have that, you become number one. You know what I mean? You should go against the lowest seed at that point, because that's probably what they would do. They pick the most, you know what I mean? They would pick the most opportune.
But here's the problem. We just picked Winter Soldier over Endgame.
Oh, Winter Soldier is the lowest seed,
Is the lowest seed, yeah.
So you can't do that.
We just
right. You can't do that.
So
we'll decide. I mean, we'll figure out the semifinals, and the first match will be next week. So tune in then. But boys, we're coming to the top of time. What do you got before we get out of here?
Money in the Bank, dude. That was awesome. That was fun. That was a
That
very
was
fun
fun.
way to decide
MCU, Money in the Bank. I love that we did
who
it like
filled
that.
that fourth spot. That was very. I liked that. I'm glad we did that. Very good.
Benoit,
very nice.
your thoughts?
Yeah, we got a chance to bring some old ones back, our passions, our personal faves, and really talk about. I think that was an excellent way to do it. I think we got 4 absolute colossuses here. And I think matchups are going to play a big part in how this thing goes.
Matchups makes fights. Styles makes fights.
Styles make fights. I don't know how we're going to do it, but I'm really excited. And I mean, guys, only 3 debates left, right? 2 semifinals and a final. I can't believe the year's so fast. But no, that was fun. I thought tonight was awesome. I love the fact that we kept that one spot open for a larger debate. We're the best. Liam's right. We're the best at this. So
I mean, Burn, we've started
and cram up your cram, dude. We don't need it.
I think we started this tournament. It was I think it was April.
I was going to say April
6th.
Yeah.
It was April 6th or April 13th that we started this tournament.
I mean, it's flown by. It's flown by.
Yeah. So the culmination of this tournament is just incredible. So moving on, our semifinals are set. We have Avengers Infinity War, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America Winter Soldier, and Avengers Endgame. Super excited to start the semifinals next week. But speaking of starting the semifinals, there's been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast presents Ask AI. I'm Matt Lavelle. He's Burn Pocketsy. He's Liam Reese. And in case you're wondering, you can find all our stuff and all our content and all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You know us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast. Join us on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe. We'll keep bringing this incredible content. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks. See you.